guys, and welcome back to the third installment of E's Horror Lounge. I am your host, E, and this is like my 17th time trying to record this episode. Uh, it's very rainy outside, so it's kind of storming right now. So, like, very loud claps of thunder keep on screwing with the show. I don't know. I might keep those in. If one does happen, I'll kind of keep it in. Maybe it can add to. Maybe it can make like a little bit of atmosphere. Last one I tried to record, my cat decided to go crazy, like right next to me, and she just like knocked everything off of a table. But what can you really do about it? Anyways, I hope you guys are having a good day today. Hopefully you guys have also been having a good week. If you guys have not been having a good week, I'm sorry, but at least we're halfway through it. Hopefully you guys aren't too stressed out. I've actually been having a really good week. I haven't really been doing much now that I think about it. I've just kind of been writing for the podcast, and that's really it. And that's primarily due to, like, around where I am, it just raining consistently. But, I'm just trying to make the best of my days whenever it's crappy outside, so I'm usually just staying inside, researching new things that I could talk about on the show, and hopefully it pays off. Hopefully these episodes are actually starting to become very interesting. Anyways, I actually have a really good story to talk about today. The story is about the Omen curse. Thus, the title of this episode is Why I Hate the Omen. I'm just going to jump right into it because the story is kind of long, and there are a lot of points that I want to bring up. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Released in 1976, was a horror classic entitled The Omen. In short, the movie was about a couple who just had a kid that dies directly after birth, the man that then secretly adopts a kid whose mother died giving birth to him. After that, they find out that the kid is causing weird things to happen, and a priest implies that the kid is not human but is a powerful demon. The kid kills a priest, and the photographer starts investigating and finding weird shadows, and the father finds out on a trip to the kid's birthplace that his biological son was killed by the kid that they have now so that he could take their place. The dad realizes the kid is probably the Antichrist. The mother dies. The dad finds that there's like a weird birthmark and then tries to kill the kid with like 7 knives, or as they say in the movie, magical daggers. The man is then killed right before he could kill the kid by police because, the police just saw it as a guy about to murder his son. The kid is shown at the family's funeral, smiling, and the most badass sounding Bible verse that makes me want to listen to Iron Maiden shows up on screen, and then the movie ends. So, yeah, it's definitely one hell of a movie. If you guys haven't seen it, I highly suggest you guys watch it. If you guys also haven't seen it, I kind of doubt that someone that listens to this show has not seen this movie. But if you haven't, definitely go watch it. It's a really good movie. But the thing with scary movies, after it, it kind of fades away with the scariness factor because it is all just fiction, and it's just so easy to shrug off after watching it. But the creepiest thing about The Omen is not only what happened in the movie, but it's also the fact that paranormal things started happening outside of the movie to the actors, actresses, director, and one of the creepiest things happened to, who was it? I think it was the special effects assistant or something like that. It was something that had something to do with special effects, and I'll get to that near the end. I'm going to try to start this off kind of light and not go straight into, going to try not to go straight into all the, deaths and gore just now, so I'm just going to started off, there's so this movie has supposedly been the cause of several deaths, and with me saying that includes one that is very, very similar to a scene in the movie. And I'm just going to start off with, again, I'm just going to say this, I'm just going to start off with the tamer ones and go into the very dark ones so that the ones that are listening only to the beginning of this and only hear the tame stuff, it gets creepier if you're not going to listen to all of this. So I suggest that you listen to all of this. Actually, I just realized that at the beginning of this podcast, I didn't do the whole, I thank you guys for listening, because you guys don't have to, but anyways, I'll just say that at the end. I'll go through the whole thing at the end. So I'm just going to jump right in. The actor who plays a main role in the movie, Gregory Peck, was on his way to the set and had his plane get struck by lightning, resulting in the plane almost crashing. Now, you might, maybe just a coincidence, some of you guys might be saying, but an even creepier thing is, it's weird, plane just flew right, like a plane is flying right over the house right now. So that's kind of some good timing. But anyways, like a couple days after, the director of the film had the exact same thing happen to him. But luckily both survived, but still, like, what the hell? Like, it's just hard to think about that just being a coincidence. Just like the fact that they both took a plane to the set, both got struck by lightning, both almost flew over both almost crashed. One just flew over my house. And, luckily they both survived. If they didn't survive, then the film wouldn't have been made. But they both survived. But during the filming, the director, who was also one of the guys that almost crashed in the plane, had several near-death experiences, including his hotel being bombed, along with a restaurant being bombed right before he arrived there. Now, this guy almost dies on his way over to where they're filming. And then whilst he's staying there for the filming, he almost gets killed. This guy, if this is not a curse, this guy just has some really bad luck. This guy just has some really bad mojo. He has a very bad aura. His chakras are not aligned or something. But yeah, a lot of people have dismissed this by just saying that the IRA was just bombing a lot of places during the filming of this movie, which, they were. So, this is still a pretty easy thing to kind of dismiss as just, as just like a little, just like a little curse made by fans just so that they can try to enjoy a movie a little bit more. And, I respect you if you say that, but on set, for a scene involving animals, one of the animals got loose and killed an animal expert. On set. Also, along with all of that misfortune that happened, during the recording of this movie, they rented a plane for a shot over the city they were in, but the plane they rented was changed, and the people who got in the plane, that the crew was supposed to use to take the shot over the city, the people that took the plane were a bunch of businessmen, and that plane crashed and killed all the passengers inside of it. And that's just crazy. So let's count them off. Plane almost crashes. Another plane almost crashes. Hotel bombed. Restaurant bombed. Both were about. Both of them, the director was about to show up to. Guy gets eaten on the set by an animal. They were supposed to get a shot over the city, but the plane they rented was changed. The people who got in the plane crashed. So this is getting kind of hard to just say that it might just be a coincidence. And, with all of that, I feel that the most unnerving thing about all this is what happened to the special effects consultant. his name was John Richardson. And if you have seen the movie, you probably remember like the decapitation scene where like I think it was like a pane of glass cuts off a dude's head or something like that. And the creepiest thing about that is John was in Netherlands and he got in a car accident that killed the passenger in his car. The way that she died was with the bed of the truck that they crashed into cutting off her torso. And you might be thinking that this is very similar to the movie. And whenever John got out of the car, he read a sign that said Omen, Ommen, for you guys that, for those who actually want to confirm this is a real place. I've looked this up. It is a real place in Netherlands. And this is just crazy to think about. Some reports say that the sign also said 66.6 kilometers, but I couldn't find any proof of that. I kept on looking up the sign because, I would think that someone would probably take a picture of the sign just because this is a pretty big curse. But, it's like, even without the 66.6 kilometers, it really is still a very tragic and unnerving story to have the biggest movie you've done be The Omen. Have a passenger in your car get killed very similarly to how someone in the film dies. And then to get out of the car and to see Omen written on the sign. And possibly 66.6 kilometers. But then again, also with the 66.6 kilometers could just be fabricated. But either way, dude, that's crazy. But with all this going on, again, you guys, for some of you guys that are convinced by this, I'm just gonna take a little bit of time just to try to possibly lighten this up by trying to just say that this is a coincidence. This is just one case of misfortune happening on the set of a movie. Also, I feel like a lot of this could just been a product of the time. Pilots didn't have to go through the same protocol, so the plane that crashed with the businessman inside, that could have just been a product of its time. Modern day planes can withstand lightning strikes, and they're actually relatively common because a giant piece of metal up in the sky, especially whenever it's storming, there's a very high chance that a plane is going to get struck by lightning, and I feel like a lot of this is just a big coincidence. The whole bombing stuff again with the IRA, I feel like that could have been a real big coincidence. And also one thing that I think about is that crazy stuff has happened on the set of other movies. The Poltergeist is a very big example of this. The Poltergeist, I believe some of the actors legitimately ended up getting abused on the set of there. I think one of them broke their back on the set for a scene where they were supposed to be getting thrown at a wall. And also, I think Superman, there's a lot of misfortune that happened. I think the guy who played Superman, fell off of, I think he fell off of a horse and got paralyzed or something like that. But, ultimately the point I'm trying to get out there is that one of the things about this that I find very hard to believe is that this is a curse and that this couldn't just be coincidence. And I feel like the fact that the movie is about a demon child kind of makes it a lot more believable that there could be a curse about this movie. But then again, it all just depends on, who you're talking to. A lot of people could say